I want to come clean about something. I'm a fraud. Okay, let me back up a little bit. I've been making YouTube videos for about 3 years now, nearly 3.5, and I've been trying to be a video essayist. As I've been on YouTube, I've been exposed to a lot of different types of films, and I've been able to broaden my horizons, as it were. And overall, I think this has been a net positive. I've gotten to see a lot of different types of movies from a lot of different types of people, and my appreciation for cinema as an art form has greatly increased. But there have been negatives. Namely, I've been watching movies wrong. Back in 2022, I watched Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, a great movie if ever there were one, and I left a review for it on Letterboxd. By review, I of course mean an unfunny one-liner, which reads, "Wow, just wow." Anyway, time to watch some video essays. When I wrote this, I can only imagine I wanted to bring a smile to people's faces, a bit of amusement after such an intense thrill ride of a picture. But all I feel looking back on it, nearly 2.5 years later, is a sense of embarrassment and regret. But I also see a bit of insight into how I consume media, and how the culture as a whole seems to view media. Alright, let's start with the how I consume media portion of things. So, as I stated in the intro, my review was about watching video essays, which isn't by itself a terrible thing. It's actually pretty cool to see other people's interpretations of things, and it's cool how video essays have made it easier for people to give their interpretations of things. But I wasn't watching video essays to see other people's interpretations. I was watching them to have an interpretation. Parasite was not a movie I understood. I pretended I did at the time, I gave it 5 stars, I liked liking it, but I didn't understand it. And yeah, cool, that's fine, not everything works for everyone. I've seen other movies I didn't understand, and I'm fine with not getting them like a lot of other people seem to. But this wasn't merely a lack of understanding, it was a lack of engaging. I didn't try to understand Parasite. I watched it because I felt it was a sacred text of cinema, not because I actually wanted to watch it, and watching the film, I didn't try to see for myself what it was doing because I knew other people would tell me. I didn't think about why the movie was made the way it was, why Bong Joon-ho told this specific story with these specific elements in this specific way, because frankly, I thought it wasn't important. I didn't think it mattered what I thought, because other people would tell me the right interpretation. They'd give me what I needed to actually appreciate the movie. And, unfortunately, I thought this way for a while. For the past 2 years, I have pretty much been watching movies this way. My thoughts on a given movie were almost entirely dictated by other people's opinions, and while I started to break out of this mindset upon seeing different people I respect have opposing opinions on films, I still found myself motivated by what others thought. I would only give a movie a certain score if someone I followed gave it a similar score, and my opinion on a movie would drastically change as soon as I started seeing what other people thought of it. This, looking back, is a terrible way to watch movies. I was avoiding actually engaging with what a film was trying to communicate. I mostly cared if a movie was entertaining, which is fine, movies can be entertainment, but I was applying that mindset to movies that wanted me to think deeper. Parasite wanted me to use media literacy, and I refused. It wanted me to think about what it was trying to say, and I said, someone else can tell me what to think. Recently, I've started to call myself out on this. Part of making this very video was to call myself out, and to maybe help other people who are in the same boat as me. This obviously isn't the most pressing issue facing the world right now, but for someone who loves movies, someone who wants to make movies, it's kind of important to actually watch movies. But why am I making this video? I'll admit, up until now, this feels like something I could have talked about in a paint-drying Letterboxd review, more of a personal update than any sort of observation, but do you remember at the start of the video when I said, and how the culture seems to view media? Well, to circle back to that, I think this is more than just a me problem. Now, I'm guessing the severity of this, for the purposes of this video, issue varies, but it's still something I would imagine more people than I deal with. I say this because I think a lot of this type of thinking stems from the popularity and prevalence of online film communities, including review sites like Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and kind of the star of this video, Letterboxd. Now, admittedly, I'm not going to focus on Letterboxd specifically, mostly because Sam Morgan on Pictures Up Productions made a really good video on the subject, linked in the description, but I would like to bring up something he said in that video, which is,
For a while, I had a terrible habit of opening Letterboxd immediately after watching a movie, like since I first got the app. Let's say the movie I watched, I knew it was in the 3 to 4 star range. I would decide whether it was going to be rated 3, 3.5, or 4 stars while reading other reviews. One particularly insightful criticism from someone else could bump my entire review down by half a star, even if I didn't make that observation myself.
this is something I talked about in the last portion of the video, so now I actually have evidence here to support this being more than just a me problem. Yay! But this quote, to me, shows where sites like Letterboxd can inhibit film criticism, because it transforms my thoughts on a film into the average of my thoughts plus reviews from people I admire. Movie reviews have been around as long as there have been movies, but in the age of the internet, access to them is naturally a lot easier. With this also came the advent of the aforementioned review sites, where the old adage, everyone's a critic, became quite literal. While I don't have a lot of hard evidence for this, at least beyond the already played clip from Pictures Up Productions, I would wager this prevalence of reviews and criticism leads a lot of people to feel the way I'd been feeling these past couple of years. Criticism and interpretation have been around for a long time, but the internet has added a parasocial layer to it. I'm not just reading reviews, I'm reading reviews from people I look up to, people I want to be like. A lot of these people aren't just reviewers to me, they're people I can see some of myself in, both relatable and aspirational, and in order to be like them, I subconsciously believed that I had to agree with them. Film critics of old were respectable, of course, but I don't think this parasocial element was present with a lot of them because they were a lot more formal. You'd maybe read their review in the paper or watch their TV program, but they weren't like vlogging from Cannes. They had the prestigious title of film critic, they weren't just normal film fans. Nowadays, thanks to the internet, a lot of normal film fans are critics, and while this has a lot of benefits, like opening the door for more perspectives, it can give the illusion that this is the level the average film enthusiast comprehends and critiques art at. And this makes me feel less confident in my ability to watch movies. It leaves me feeling like I'm failing at watching movies, because I want to fit in. It also makes me feel like I have to feel a certain way about movies. I can't dislike Parasite, it's the highest rated movie on Letterboxd, or it was at the time I watched it, and all of these people I follow like it. If I don't like a movie people I respect hold in high regard, or if I like a movie that people generally don't, I feel like I'm wrong. This easy access to opinions and reviews and video essays makes me value my own opinion less, and while I don't have a lot of evidence to back this up, I'm almost certain this is something other people feel as well. Over the past year, I began to really value my thoughts on movies, and since then, I've tried to grow my own skill in interpreting what I watch, rather than letting others tell me what something is about. I started going from seeing movies to watching movies, and so far, it's been pretty nice. At the time of writing this, the last movie I watched was Fruitvale Station, the 2013 Ryan Coogler film with Michael B. Jordan, and I haven't read any reviews for it. I haven't even looked at star ratings for it because, frankly, I don't want to. It's nice to watch a movie and not care what other people think about it, to exclusively engage with what the film is doing and what it's trying to say and how successfully it does so for me. This is the first time I've watched a movie without reading anyone's reviews, and doing so has forced me to focus on how the movie makes me feel, and why it elicits such a response from me. Because, plot twist, I get more out of movies when I actually engage with movies. Engaging with movies and what they're trying to say has helped me to think differently, to at the very least acknowledge different perspectives, if not actually see them. When I let them, movies can teach me a lot about what it means to be a person and about the world we live in. I don't want to wax poetic. I don't want to be overly sentimental about the power of cinema. But, like, movies are powerful, man. Engaging with movies challenges me. It challenges the way I think, what I care about, how I view myself, but it's rewarded me with perspectives I otherwise wouldn't have gotten. My review of Parasite disregarded what the film was trying to do. I kept the movie at arm's length. I appreciated it for its artistic merit. Wow, the cinematography. But I didn't want to engage with what it wanted me to engage with. I cared about liking Parasite. I didn't care about Parasite. I want to care about movies. I don't want to care about simply liking them.